What's up, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to have an amazing video because we're going to be talking about what does it actually cost to start an automotive repair shop. I've had this question asked numerous times in the comments section. After I did this video, my Instagram DM blew up. A lot of people want to know how much does it cost to put shops in, lifts, all that other stuff. So I'm going to give you guys a very good breakdown of what I'm actually paying myself for this place, as well as what you should be paying if you're just starting out your journey. Some of the necessary tools you're going to need, licensing, other stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into the video. But before I do, if you could do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm, that's we find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We do post 3 times a week, so make sure you click the notification bell. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. And let's get into the video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your lease. Now, when you first start your automotive journey, you do not need a big shop. A lot of people see these shops on TVs and YouTube, and they're like, that's what I want. I need a big shop. When you first start out, obviously it's business 101. You want to keep your overhead as low as possible, because also we don't know how fast you're going to grow and what you're actually going to specialize in, which I'll get into here in a minute. So in this particular shop, like I said, our building's about 8,000 square feet, a little bit under, and we have about 1.5 acres of yard space. So what that usually calculates out to in most areas, depending on your area, may be way cheaper, maybe way more expensive. Here in Vegas, I'm out in the boonies, so it's usually about $1.25 per square foot. And then you add in yard space. Some companies charge you for yard space, some don't. It could start as 10 cents to 15 cents per square foot, or they may just throw it in your base rent. So what this facility costs us with insurance, bond, lights, utilities, pretty much everything is about $12,000 a month. Now, it does seem like a very high nut for a shop that's really not even open to the general public, but we do a lot of wholesaling, flipping, and then like I said, this is where I'm going to be doing the classes and teaching, so I can justify paying $12,000 to not being open to the general public, where I tell most people you never want to spend that much money. Plus, we're going to go over now the different types of leases and what you want to do when you first find your place. Now, as you start your automotive journey, you want to make sure you find a place that gives you a decent amount of space, but for cheap as possible. Because like I said, business 101, we want to keep our overhead low. And we don't know how fast you're going to grow and what you're going to specialize in. So we need to make sure that our lease reflects that. So usually with your first automotive repair shop, I tell people get a 1 to 2 year lease, no more. And also make sure that you put, I will finish my lease upon approval of license. I'm telling you right now, that is critical because I've seen so many people rent a space, they can't get their automotive repair license there, and then they're stuck in their lease. Make sure you put that in writing in your lease. Hey, look, I will complete lease upon approval of licensing. And then this way, if something doesn't work out, the city kicks back your licensing, whatever else, you can move on to a new shop. So let's go ahead and go back into why I tell people to do a 1 to 2 years. We touched a little bit about it before, where we don't know how fast you're going to grow or what you're going to specialize in. So let's say you're a regular automotive repair shop. You're just turning wrenches with general public, regular cars. You start out, let's say all the other shops have been there for 10 years, you're the new guy on the block. So you will get an influx of customers. Basically everybody they pissed off, you're going to get them pretty quickly. So you may grow pretty quick in the first, 60 to 90 days. We don't know how fast, but as we start to build your pace of, getting your customers, your clientele, and you're getting your fleet accounts and everything else, you may grow rather quickly. So if this does happen, you can start pacing yourself like, okay, well, in 6 months, I've already gotten X amount of customers. I have a 2-bay shop now. I could probably handle a 4 to 5-bay shop and maybe hire another mechanic or 2 mechanics. So that's kind of what we go for, is we start getting stuff like that lined up. So if with the 1 year lease, like I said, if you are very successful, we can start planning on growing your business, making it much bigger, much larger. So this way, once your year is up, we can go ahead and move across. A lot of people make that mistake and sign like a 3, 4, 5 year lease. And then next thing you know, your 2-bay shop, you outgrew it in the first year. Now you're stuck for 4 more years and you got cars packed up. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's like a little gas station shop. It's got 2 bays, but there's like 70 cars out front. You don't want to be that guy. So like I said, plan accordingly, get your lease with the 1 to 2 years so you can grow your business and build your business and see. Also, this works on the other end. I had a friend of mine here in Las Vegas. He's a really good mechanic, but he just happens to love British vehicles. He specializes in Jaguars and Range Rovers, which we both know are probably the 2 biggest pieces of crap on earth. But he had these people coming in religiously to do, to bring him his cars. So even though he wasn't doing a lot of volume, he was getting a lot of gross because these guys were paying extra hourly to fix these cars. So he didn't need this 5-bay shop that he originally started with. He could handle a 2-bay shop. So after a year, if you start into something like that, where you're doing something specialized, maybe JDM, maybe Range Rover repair, maybe customizing, stuff like that, you don't want to be stuck in a really big facility just to find out that you can make more money with 2 bays with just yourself and just, make easy money. So that's why we usually recommend for the first year or two that we get you either a 1 to 2 year lease and get you a medium-sized shop, just so you can kind of either grow into it or realize that it's too big and you can slowly walk out of it and shrink. And once again, don't forget to put in your lease, will finish lease upon approval of business licensing. It's very, very important. I will say it probably 5 more times in this video. If you don't, you will get screwed and you'll be stuck with your lease. Now that we got the lease out of the way, the next important thing is equipment. You gotta have equipment. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and you should buy a lift before you even look for a place to actually move to. The reason why is I've never seen so many shops when they first get started, they'll buy this $5,000-$6,000 fancy toolbox, but they will not buy a lift. If you're a mechanic looking to leave a shop, sell your box to the Matco guy, Snap-on, Cornwell, whoever else, take that money, go buy a lift. Some lifts are not that expensive. There's a lot of companies in probably your town, in your area, that sells used lifts for about $1,500 to $2,000, and you can buy new ones from $2,000 all the way up to $5,000. Just depends. But I'll tell you what, you need to have at least one lift when you first start your shop, because it'll pay massive dividends. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna walk out to the shop. I'm gonna talk about some of the pieces of equipment you're gonna need to start your journey, why they're so important, and why it's gonna play a crucial role in you being successful in your first year of business. So we're in the back of the shop. This is where I'm gonna set up the YouTube studio. So where the smart car is, this is where I'm gonna put my toolbox, my welder, some other stuff, and then right here is the lift. So we're gonna start off with lifts again. Now, the reason why they're so important is I've never seen so many business owners actually start their shops with no lifts. This is what's gonna save you time. You don't need a $12,000 toolbox to impress your friends. You need a lift to actually speed up your repair work, to do everything. A lot of the tools I'm going to talk to you about that are going to be a must-have necessity when it comes to your automotive journey, because a lot of techs, they start out with, just like I said, the nicest toolbox, the coolest hand tools, but they don't have actual equipment. This is where it's going to make you your bread and butter. So you need to make sure that you get a good lift. Now this one right here, if you can look, is an extra tall lift. So if you're 5'10", 6'5", whatever else, this is the lift you want, because it literally stops, I think, at about 6'2", 6'3", something like that. So you could walk underneath the car. You don't have to like leanch over and bend over. Now, if you can't afford one of these, that's fine. These are about $3,500 brand new. That's not too bad. It's actually pretty affordable. Back in the day, BenPack used to charge like $6,000 for these things, but it's extra wide and extra tall. So if you can, get one nice lift like this one in the beginning, if you can afford it. If not, like I said, I got a few ones over here that I'll show you that I only bought for $1,500. Let's go ahead and check those ones out and see the difference. Sorry, they're actually wiring it up right now, so I can't really show you, but if you see, there's this blue lift right here where my finger's at. That lift right there, nothing fancy. A shop went out of business, closed its doors. They sold their lifts to the company that serviced mine, and they asked me if I wanted to buy these 2 lifts for $1,500 each, and I said, sure, why not? So you can get some good quality stuff used for $1,500. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, do not buy the cheap Chinese ones, because all this stuff right here, if something breaks, you could buy the parts for it. Do not buy the super, super cheap lifts that are made in China if you can't get the parts, the rollers, and some of the other things, because some of this stuff will break. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. Plus, inside there's hydraulic cylinders. Some are meant to be rebuilt, some are meant to be replaced. So if you get a good, decent one, a lot of times if they start leaking, you can always rebuild them. It's only like $150 per cylinder. It's not that bad. It's pretty inexpensive. So just start off, like I said, with a good quality lift. Something affordable that you can put in there. And like I said, this will save you a lot of time, which will make you more money. So I'm trying to do this. Everybody's making noise, so I figured I'll just roll it anyways. So nothing you need, doesn't have to be crazy, just a small affordable welder just to get started, because you will not believe how many times you're gonna need this for either exhaust, to fix something, to repair something. So having an affordable, cheap welder is not too bad. I think Mario got this one for a couple bucks on Facebook Marketplace because it was cheap. Mine's over here, which I'll show you that one, but there's all kinds of stuff. You don't need anything crazy. Like we have the pipe bender right here that we're gonna be doing the roll cages and stuff out of. One thing you're gonna need is a compressor. I'm trying to see where we actually put our compressor. I actually don't see it, so it must be outside somewhere. So I'll kind of walk through all this stuff. So all the mess you see behind me, it's insane right now, so don't worry about it. We're actually gonna fix everything up. Where is the compressor? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go back inside the shop and talk about this because it's like there's way too much crap out here, and we have the electrician coming back in to put up the wiring for the shop, and then the guys are still trying to work on some cars so we can send them to the auction. So let's go back inside and we'll finish up the video. Sorry about that, the shop's disorganized. I'll do another video when it's all set up and pretty looking inside, but one of the things you're gonna need is an actual air compressor. Now, I know a lot of tools now are all electric, all of our impacts and everything else are electric, but you're gonna need it for several reasons. One, a lot of our lifts, the four-post lift actually runs off of compressed air. Some of your grinders, body saws, some of these other things are also gonna need it. If you get a plasma cutter or some other specialty tools, they're all gonna need some type of air. Plus, obviously filling tires and everything else like that. So getting a good quality compressor is very key. Now, I have a crazy one, which I'll try to take a video of and put it somewhere in here. That one was about $4,000 and it's a heavy duty 2-cycle machine, but you don't need anything like that. When I first started my shop, I bought one from Home Depot. I think it was a Husky. I had that thing for 5 years. Never died. I changed the oil. That's the key. You got to change the oil at least once a year, minimum. A lot of people never do. It winds up burning up the oil and the motor just blows up. So as long as you change the oil, those things will last long. So starting off with a good quality compressor will definitely set you up. And once again, these are some of these small tools that are going to save you time. Next one we're going to talk about is a transmission jack. If you can get a 1 to 2 tier, which I'll put a picture over here so I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, these things are vital when it comes to either pushing out motors, changing motor mounts, pulling out your transmissions, getting them out of the way. They are a huge, huge benefit and a huge help. And once again, it's one of those tools. It's very important that you're going to need this so it speeds up your fixing time, because a lot of mechanics get this notion, well, I'm not going to spend $1,200 on a jack because, I'll just do it myself, or I'll lift it or I'll move it or whatever else. I'm telling you right now, the stuff that I'm telling you is designed so you can speed up your time. The one thing you can't get back is time. You could always make more money. You can't get back to your time. And so there's a big difference between A techs and B techs, and it's usually like a light year away. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's some techs that literally can turn like an 8-hour job into like a 2.5-hour job, because everything they have is built for efficiency. The way their tools are set up, the unique stuff they have, the equipment they have, that's what helps you get stuff knocked out. So when you go to some of these small shops, a lot of the business owners, I wouldn't say they're cheap. They just don't know that if they were to invest in equipment like this, it would definitely help them out and speed things along. So this way they're able to speed up their repairs. Their mechanics will make more money. They'll have less downtime. They'll be able to turn out faster tickets, get a higher ROO or RO pricing tickets on every single deal, and it speeds up your income. But like I said, most people don't want to spend the type of money on, like I said, an expensive transmission jack, but definitely get one of those. It'll definitely pay you dividends. Now, the next tool you're going to need is called a single post or a post holder. This is pretty much a stand that allows you to, let's say you're taking out a transmission, you put it underneath the engine, it holds the engine in place while you pull the transmission out. It's something that's not very expensive. It's like 50 bucks, I think, at Harbor Freight. You could buy a nice one from Cornwall or Cromwell for like 175 bucks. These things are crucial when it comes to working with just one person. So if you're starting off your journey with just yourself to start your shop, this is something you're gonna need. It's like an extra lending hand. So make sure you spend a little bit of money, buy one of these things. There's tons of them all over Facebook Marketplace and offer up used for, a few bucks. Definitely invest into one of them. If you can get at least 2 or 3, it'd be even better. So this way you can work on multiple cars at the same time. Also, if you're putting apart, like let's say you take a motor out, but you need to hold the transmission and the exhaust as well, no baling wire, nothing like that. You just use these stands, makes it much easier. So this way you can still move around and do everything without having to worry about tying wire up somewhere else or pretty much damaging your vehicle. So definitely a crucial tool that once again will help you speed up your time. So this way you can make more money. Another crucial tool is a good quality floor jack. Now I tell everybody start off with what's called a low rise floor jack first. These ones are pretty much designed to fit under most modern cars at a much lower profile. Now, I'm telling you right now, spend the money and get a good one. Don't get the cheap Harbor Freight ones, for like 80 bucks. Even the $200 ones at Harbor Freight are pretty decent. If you can, go to Cornwall, Cromwell, put $100 down, get like one of these $500, $600 jacks. Because I tell you what, I've had some of these for 5, 6, 7 years, and they lasted forever. My one guy here, Mario, I think he's bought maybe 5 or 6 Harbor Freight jacks, and I still have my single one that I bought from Cornwell like 5 years ago. Spend the money on that particular item because that's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's something that you're going to use quite a bit, not only for like pulling stuff off, like lifting up the car and then, pulling a tire off and dropping it back down. But I've seen some people where they're just lazy. They'll use it to lift a car. They'll take the tire off and they'll leave it there for overnight. Never want to do that because you'll blow the seal. But if you get something better, you're less likely to do that. So getting a good quality floor jack will be definitely important when it comes to doing this type of, speeding up repairs and getting your shop started. So definitely spend the extra money and get a good quality floor jack. Now the next tool is kind of funny. I always get people that really debate on this one. So it is getting a good quality scanner. Now I'm not going to tell you which brand to go for or which one to do. They're pretty much all the same. But if you don't have a scanner that's at least $1,000, don't even start your business journey, because if you can't program like a throttle body, you can't diagnose certain ABS problems, you can't test certain circuits, you can't connect basically your thing to AllData or Mitchell on Demand to look up TSBs and to figure out what your problems are, do not start a shop. We have, I think, an Automax and an Altel and a Bosch scanner. So we have like 3 or 4 of them. We have a handful of little cheapy ones that we use just to check cars to see if they're good for smog. But you want to get something like that. Now, even though you are a shop, and let's say you're a shop owner and you don't physically work on cars, you as the business owner need to provide these guys with a good quality scanner, because this will help cut down your costs. So I see a lot of people where they get these cheap scanners, they'll plug it in and they'll read, oh, look, the code says it's OBD2. Where if you actually had a decent scanner, you can read the numbers and say, well, the mass airflow sensor is reading out of whack. That's why it's causing the O2s to read out of whack. So let's go ahead, let's clean up the mass airflow sensor and let's reread and see what the O2s are putting out. And if the O2s come out clean, you just saved, $400 or $500. Where in the old days, all these guys look at the scanner, oh, it's the OBD2. I mean, it's the old school scanners. They're like, oh, well, it's the O2 sensor. They'll throw away that, cost you $400, put an O2 sensor, and you didn't even need to replace. So that's why you get a quality scanner, to make sure you don't waste a lot of time and money chasing, basically crappy repairs and following up with just swapping out parts. Nobody wants to be a parts monkey. We hate those people. That's the guys that work at Firestone Tire Works and Pep Boys and stuff like that. If you work at Pep Boys, no disrespect. It's just that, like, we watch literally, they'll, like, whatever the scanner says, they literally just grab the parts and throw it at the car. Don't be that guy. Don't start up your reputation like that. Make sure you get a good quality scanner so you don't have any of those problems once you get started on your journey. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is business licensing insurance. Now, when you first get started, you're going to need a garage keeper's policy. What this covers is it covers all of your equipment inside the shop as well as the customer's vehicle. So if your guy's working on it or you're working on it and all of a sudden you catch it on fire, you're protected by your insurance. This is something you're going to need, not only for your peace of mind and the customer's peace of mind, but once you start your business licensing with the DMV, you're going to need that. So make sure you get a good quality garage keeper's policy. Also, you want to ask your representative if this covers you on test drives. Most garage keepers policies do, but you always want to check, because there's nothing worse than going on a test drive and somebody, smashes the car, totals it out, and then you find out that you don't have proper coverage. So make sure you ask your insurance rep for that, see if that'll actually cover you. So this way, once you get that, you can basically give this insurance card to all your techs and let them know that, hey, if you get hit, accidents, whatever else, make sure you take that with you and show them around and show them exactly what you need. Now we're going to be talking about licensing. Now, I won't go too much into it because we save that for the class, but obviously you're going to need your business license, and then you're going to need to go to the DMV to get your certifications. Make sure you follow whatever state protocols there are, get as much licensing as you can, and get certified. So this way, if you want to do any type of repairs for AAA, you want to do insurance work, stuff like that, you got to be licensed through the DMV. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Now, after you get all that stuff done, a lot of people never talk about what is the first step when you actually open up your automotive repair shop. Now, let's say you went through everything, you got your lift set up, you got your equipment, you got your license, so you're good to go. What is your next step? A lot of people always say, well, the first thing I want to do is go out and just chase down business, which, you should do that. You want to chase business, but I've never seen a lot of shops have good quality, websites, social media presence. You want to build up your social media so this way you can put out ads, bring people in. When people are here doing your repairs, ask them if they can give you Yelp reviews, stuff like that. You want to set up all your social media stuff right from the beginning. So this way, by the time you're opening, Your social media will already be about a month or two old, and hopefully by then it'll already come up on Google. So if somebody goes to Bob's Auto Repair, they can come find you and oh, Bob's Auto Repair is on Main Street. Let's go to Bob's, It's very easy to do it that way. So make sure you kind of set that all up. Also, you're gonna need a physical landline because I've seen too many people use cell phone numbers, and believe it or not, Google wants you to actually have. Sorry about that. I'm actually recording with my phone because the lighting in here is really bad. When I turn on my camera, I look like I'm orange. So if the noise is a little loud, plus people keep calling in, so I have to keep stopping it. But anyways, so Google needs a physical phone number that's connected to a landline, so this way it can help register for you for your store, as well as you're gonna need a fax. If you do AAA or other insurance work, a lot of times they are gonna fax you bonds, quotes, information, whatever else the case may be. So you need a landline. So anyways, so now that we got that out of the way, you want to start your marketing, get out there, and then once you have that, get a good quality business card, and then we go out and hit the streets and start marketing and talking to people. Now, once you start talking to these guys, don't sell the dream. Do not say you do everything. I tell everybody in the beginning, you want to start off with what you know and what you do really well. So if you're really good at timing belts, if you're really good at head gaskets, stick to those things. If you're not as fast as an R&R guy, like if you don't rip out transmissions and put them in every day and you're not fast at that, it's okay to say no. One of the biggest mistakes that I made as a shop owner is I tried to take on everything. I tried to fix everything. I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of money. I made a lot of customers upset because, when we first start out, we need money. So I was like, what are you having? Oh, the mechanic can't fix your car. Bring it to me. I'll fix it. What is this one? This one's a headache. Bring it to me. I'll fix it. And so we kept getting tied up with all this crap that we couldn't get out of the shop, and it was eating up valuable time and money. So I tell everybody, if you can't fix and diagnose the car within the first day, get it out. Tell the customer, say, hey man, you know what? We looked at it. We can't figure it out. Something's weird. I recommend you take it to the dealer. No charge for the diag. It's faster to get it out of your shop than, oh, well, let me look at it. My guy's going to look at it tomorrow. We're going to spend a day or two with it, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, the customer's car has been out for 4 or 5 days and they're blowing you up like, hey, where's my car? Where's my car? Where's my car? And that's how you get bad reviews. Where it's a lot faster, but once we get the car into there and we're like, oh man, this thing's a piece of junk, or oh, this car has too many issues, I just call them right away and say, hey, you know what? Usually we could figure these things out, but for some reason our scanner can't talk to it. I recommend you take it to a dealership. So this way, you can get a good, accurate diagnosis, because for some reason we can't communicate with your vehicle. And then you just transfer it over. So this way, one, you don't lose face, you're honest. Do not charge the customer, because then you'll be an asshole because you're charging him just to look at a car, just to push it outside. Say, look, we looked at it, can't figure it out. No harm, no foul. We wish you the best of luck. And then you just send them on their way. And once you get used to that, I'm telling you, it'll pay you massive dividends in the future, because I had so many headaches with angry customers showing up, my mechanics wanting, 3-4 hours worth of labor working on cars that didn't even make you $1. It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. Only do what you're good at in the beginning and then kind of grow from there. I jumped ahead of myself. I almost forgot. You actually got to set up your vendors. Now, vendors are going to be critical when it comes to you getting discounts on parts. So once you open up your licensing and everything else, you're going to need to get a tax resale number, which is going to allow you to buy parts wholesale from multiple vendors: AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, CarQuest, whoever it is in your particular area. You want to go to all these particular vendors and set up your accounts. Get the customer service number. This way you can call directly. A lot of them, like O'Reilly's, AutoZone, everything else, you can literally go to your computer, type in 2010 Chevy Tahoe, I need a O2 sensor. It'll tell you what the price is, what your price is, and you can order it right there on the computer. So you can give the customer the quote, hey, Mr. Customer, it's $250 to fix your car. And then you already know that it costs you $100 for the sensor. Mitchell on Demand says it takes you about an hour worth of labor, so you can quote the customer really quickly and get it out and blah, blah, blah. Now, those are just generic numbers, just to give you a heads up. It's going to cost you way more than that. But anyways, but this will give you the flexibility where if you have multiple vendors, you need to have at least maybe 4 or 5 parts for auto parts, like Napa, CarQuest, AutoZone. You're going to need a handful of wrecking guards, LKQ, BNR. Those are the 2 big nationwide ones. There's a lot of them on the East Coast and Southwest or Southeast that are not here in Vegas. Set up with those ones. Also get set up with a lot of your local mom and pops places. And even if you don't do any body work, always set up with the body shop vendor. So like Keystone, there's a few other ones. The reason why is if you call O'Reilly's and you say, hey, I need a radiator for the 2010 Tahoe, Believe it or not, a lot of the body shops will sell you cheaper, body part stores will sell you cheaper radiators, AC condensers, than actual like auto parts stores. So make sure you call them too, and also see, also 1-800-Radiator is a good one. We get a lot of really great deals for specialty weird radiators, fans, stuff like that. Also, 1-800-Radiators actually sells fuel pumps. So as you start building your vendor book, like I said, it'll be very important. Make sure that you leave those stickers not only inside your base or your text can call, also put them inside your shop, and then put them with your ALLDATA or Mitchell On Demand setup software, so this way you can have them ready at any time. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is actual management software, which is, like I said, ALLDATA or Mitchell On Demand. There's a bunch of other ones you can pick, but I usually tell people to go with those two because they're usually the two biggest and easiest to work with. Now, both have their pros and cons. They have good things and bad things about them, but I actually like to use ALLDATA because it has a clock, it has a watchtower where you can actually, once I book in a job, if it stays there for more than an hour and a half, it turns different colors. So it lets me know if none of the techs looked at it, you know, that, hey, we need to get somebody on this car right away. And then if we order parts, I can put it in the parts ordered section. So now we know if anybody looks at it, they can go to their computer or their iPad and say, oh, this car's waiting on parts. And once the parts come in, if you have it set up with your like your ALLDATA set up with like O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whatever else, it'll actually show when your parts are coming in and when they get delivered. So automatically it'll be like, parts are in. You get the notification, okay, let's go ahead and let's move this car to the next phase. I'm going to assign this tech to it, and we're going to go ahead and finish it up. So it's a very intuitive system. It moves really quickly. Mitchell On Demand has the exact same thing. You can do quotes and everything else. I've seen Omnique, which is another okay one, but it's the same thing. It updates, you can order parts online. It tells you where everything is. You know, if you even keep stuff in stock, you keep stock your inventory. It's a little expensive. I think we're paying like $300-400 a month for this software. So in the beginning, get the most basic. You're gonna need a good quality one to actually read like diagrams, stuff like that. So definitely get Mitchell On Demand and ALLDATA. But once you get a little bit of money, I definitely recommend getting the shop manager so you can do invoices, keep track of hours and stuff like that, because you don't realize how much money you're making and how much money you're losing until we actually start keeping track of it. And these are one of those tools that I wish I focused on when I was younger. When I first started, I used ALLDATA and Mitchell On Demand 100% for diagnosing stuff. But when it came to the management, I didn't even use it. I had a paper receipt that I would write out to people. Oh, your car 3.4 hours, needs this, needs this, needs this, and I would send it on its way. But at the end of the month, I would, unless I physically wanted to count all these paper receipts, I didn't know how many hours I was booking out and how fast I was actually turning over cars. So when you first get started, they usually have anywhere from like a 30 to 45 day trial. Get it, I'm telling you, it's something that in the long run, you get to compare yourself to different months, what you're doing. And, you know, like we had a funny thing where even when I go out and I do training, we used to love like pushing certain things. So I make a joke like, okay, this week, we're going to push light bulbs, you know, and then we'd go out and we'd check every freaking car that came in. Hey, you know what, mister, you're missing 3 light bulbs, or 3 light bulbs are dim. I'm going to go ahead and replace those. They're only $3 each, right? And so it got our service writers to notice that, you know, okay, look for bulbs. After that, I'm like, okay, we're going to focus on selling belts this week. Every car, I want you to try to sell a belt on every single car. And then at the end of that month, we said, okay, we're going to focus on air filters. And then the last one, we're going to do services like flushes and carry intake cleanings, throttle body cleaning, stuff like that. And at the end of it, they're like, okay, well, we focused on all these things. What's the big deal? Your goal is to see how much money you made from each of those weeks. And those are something they can press on every single car that's fairly simple, fairly easy, and is an easy upsell for you. And so you can track those things with the software. If you're just doing it off the top of your head or with like paper receipts or something like that, it's very hard to do. So definitely recommend investing in something like that and spending at least 2 to 3 weeks training with the reps, because once you pay for it, they'll train you as long as you want, as many times as you want. Ask them till you're blue in the face. Get it set up where it's all automated. It's super easy to use. And I tell you, it'll pay you massive dividends in the end. Okay, guys, hopefully that wasn't too exhausting. I know starting an automotive shop is very stressful, but it is a lot of fun, and it's definitely a great moneymaker, especially nowadays because there are not a lot of new cars coming out and the market is still kind of crazy. So a lot more people are fixing up their older vehicles. So this is your time to capitalize on something like this, especially with tax season right around the corner. So, you know, set up your shop. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I answer every single one myself, none of my staff, just me. And once again, please smash the subscribe button, like button. We're almost to 60,000 people, which is truly awesome. And once we get the shop set up, we're gonna go ahead and finish all the stuff. We're gonna do another fun giveaway for 60,000 subscribers. But anyways, I wanna hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.